Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're going to be looking again at an older product. It's kind of been a trend this week, but it is a very good one at that, and that is Symbol Pro by Steve Cook and ALAKAZAM Magic. A very interesting take on an ESP style effect. So I'm interested in talking more about it, telling you my opinions on it, telling you some things that I like, some things that I don't like, and maybe putting it on some of y'all's radars. So with that said, let's roll the intro and get straight into the review. Perfect, so you decided to stick around, which means you're interested in learning more about Symbol Pro. So what is Symbol Pro? Symbol Pro is essentially an effect where you display 6 ESP symbols. You go through an explanation of why these symbols are there and the test behind them. A spectator is then prompted to roll an imaginary die on the table to clock in the number. And then when they tell you the number, you show them that the card at that number is the card that you predicted every single time. So that's essentially the effect. And I think the best way for me to showcase it to you is to do a performance, and we're not even going to do any cuts or anything. We're just going to hop into the performance directly. So you would introduce from your pocket this psychological symbol test, and you tell the people that they may have seen the symbols. These are called ESP symbols, and they're used in a lot of psychological tests to determine different things about people. You may have seen them, of course. The most popular place people have seen them is in the start of the original Ghostbusters. They use these as well. But what's evolved from them is that some psychologists have placed colors on the symbol and also have given them numerical values, which play a major role in kind of swaying people's decision. So much so that you found that almost 99% of people always choose the same symbols when mixing all of these factors together. We're going to get to that in a moment, but of course, we're going to leave a prediction there, and we're going to place the symbols in a line. So now we're just going to place the symbols just like this. You can see them. So I don't know if the camera can pick it up. I hope it does. But essentially, you would tell the spectator now that I want you to imagine, I don't want you to be swayed by the colors or the symbols, so we're going to go completely random on this. We're going to try something with a number. So can you just imagine you roll a die, you roll it on the table, and it lands on a number from 1 to 6. Do you have that number? Perfect. I want you to change your mind. So can you change your mind? Let's say, they're going to change their mind to another number as they roll it again. And let's say the number that they rolled at is 4. So let's say they went with number 4. So you tell them, so number 4. Now, you remember at the start, I told you that this test relied on 3 things. It relied on the symbols, it relied on the colors, but it also relied on the numerical value they attributed to every single symbol. And on this card here is those values. They attributed number 1 to the cross, number 2 to the square, 3 to the circle, 5 to the lines, 6 to the triangle, and 4 to the star, right? And you chose 4. What was the first number that you chose that when you rolled the die? You chose number 2, so that would have been the square. And you agreed it could have been completely different. But I knew from the start, as I told you, everyone always ends on the same symbol. I don't know why. But I think that today, I knew that you were going to end on the star as well because, well, that is my prediction. So that is essentially a quick performance of the effect, and I hope that you enjoyed. Again, I do like it better when I perform it to actual people, but for now, that's the performance of it. So I hope you enjoyed. Nonetheless, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this, of course, from the actual place where it's made, from ALAKAZAM Magic. If you want to, there's a discount code down below. But if not, you can also find it at most of your magic dealers. For example, you can find it at Penguin. I think this is available at Vanish Unique as well, at your local magic shops. That's where I got mine. So I think you could probably find this at some of your local magic shops as well. So this is readily available. It's going to set you back $39.99 USD, which I do feel is a bit steep. I'm going to talk about it in a moment. Again, I purchased this on sale, so I got it for very cheap. during the Murphy's Magic summer sale, so I got it for $10. But I'm still going to be reviewing it as if it were 40 US, right? Which is around 50-55 Canadian, which is pretty expensive for this, but that's the asking price. And what you get is this. So you get this envelope. Inside of this, you get first your instructional video, which is around 40 minutes long with Peter Nardi. It's 2 separate videos mixed into one. The first half is kind of the pro size explanation, because the cards are bigger. As you saw, they're much bigger than normal playing cards. So you get that. In the tutorial. He goes over why they made the pro size, the adjustments, how you can make this play for bigger stages, for parlor, how you can set these up, how the effect works. Everything is covered in kind of the first 15 minutes. There's performances of it as well. And then in the second half is the original instructions of just the symbol effect by Steve Cook is included for you. You get that. Then you also get the envelope. It's a really nice envelope. It's provided to you. As well, the envelope is ungimmicked, but you can, if you want, trick it or however you want it to not give away too much, but you can work with the envelope in that regard as well. You also get provided 2 different ways to reveal the effect. One where the envelope is inspectable, but the card is not, and the other one where the envelope is not inspectable, but the card is. So you get provided everything for that. And then you also get your cards, which are really well made. They're like still cardstock, but they're a bit more thick, a bit more cardboardy. So that is provided to you as well. So that is everything that you get with your purchase. So having said that, let's get into difficulty. How difficult is Symbol Pro to perform? Symbol Pro is very easy to perform. It is pretty much self-working. There's no sleight of hand involved here. There's pretty much nothing. I mean, the choice of the spectator from 1 to 6 is entirely free. There's no forcing. There's nothing like that. It's pretty much relatively easy. The only thing that is kind of something to keep weary of is that at one point in the routine, you have to make sure that depending on the choices that were made, that the outcome is the outcome that you always want to happen. So what I mean by that is that you do have to have kind of a script, or just follow the script that they use in the tutorial for you to justify what happens at the end. That's all I'm going to say. I think you kind of know what I mean by that, but you're going to have to be careful of that in order to make sure that everything runs smoothly. But except for that, it is a very easy effect to perform. Now let's talk about practicality. So if you want to perform this, all you need is this. So you can just take this and place it in your top pocket, in your inner jacket pocket or whatever, and carry it with you. If you want to take this around at gigs, I wouldn't just throw this in my carrying case. I would maybe put this in kind of a plastic sleeve and then put it in my carrying case, not to damage anything, right? But carrying capacity is just pretty much this. So as you can see, it's pretty small. So you can just place this and you're ready to go. In terms of inspectability, again, depending on a few things. So first, depending, as I mentioned before, depending on how you choose to reveal the end of the trick, one thing is inspectable, one isn't. And for the cards as well, depending the way the routine goes, the cards are inspectable or they're not. But one thing that I want to mention about this is that this is so direct, so clean, so free, so nonchalant that you wouldn't ever need this to inspect. I've performed this a lot of times. I've even performed this weekend that passed in a super close-up scenario. And I didn't even reach for the cards, just did it. I left the cards, we talked about the trick, and they never reached out because it feels just so clean, so simple, so direct that you're not hiding anything. You're really free when you put the cards. You're really free when you reveal everything. You're not hiding. You're not doing anything fishy, trying to steal something. So I think because of that, this doesn't really need inspection. However, if you do fear it, you will have to kind of play around it and just remove the cards once you're done. But I don't think that there's need for inspection because of how clean this is done and how direct it is. But I just wanted to mention that as well. In terms of reset, well, you kind of saw me reset it. It took 2 seconds, just picked up the cards, placed the reveal back in the envelope. And yeah, we were basically just moving on. That's the reset. It's like 2 seconds. Angle wise, pretty much 360. There's no issues. in terms of where to perform, like if you need a table or something, I do think it works best on a table. But if let's say if you don't have a table, you can just have someone hold to the prediction. You can have this placed in your top pocket right here, or you just place it over the envelope, and then you just spread the cards in your hands like this, and you tell them, you know, I want you to imagine you roll or whatever, and you have the cards in your hand, then you can just count or do whatever you need to do from a spread. So you don't technically need a table for this. It can be done in the hands fully, but I do think it plays better, plays nicer, plays cleaner on the table rather than in the hands. But I did want to mention that if you are just doing, for example, table hopping and the tables are crowded and you can't really have the space to display all of these, because you do need space. As you saw, it takes like around a whole mat to display all of them. If you don't have that space, you can just do it in your hands. And lastly, the only last thing I want to mention regarding practicality is in terms of the ending. Yes, the ending can differ, but to some extent, which means that if you do it for a lot of tables, there's going to be a lot of kind of repeats happening at the reveal, which may give something away. But depending on the script that you do, for example, my script, I say that everyone always ends up on the same one, and I have no idea why. Do you want to try this with you? And you do it. So in that way, it kind of makes sense that everyone ends on the same, and in their head, they're going to be like, how the hell does everyone pick the same number as me? They're going to think about it, right? So you can get away with it based on scripting. That's my scripting. You can use it if you want. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Having said all of that, where would you perform Symbol Pro? I think you could perform Symbol pretty much anywhere, whether it's close up. I've only performed close up up until now. So I've performed it at like a dinner table. I've performed it at a coffee table. I've performed it during a lunch with some friends. I've always only performed it close up. So I haven't really taken it to parlor stage, but they do say that they made the cards bigger for you to be able to put them on a stand for you to play this for parlor or stage. So of course, or cabaret, so you can do it. Zoom shows, online shows, you can do it as well. So you can pretty much perform this anywhere as long as you have a table, or you can do it in the hands if you want to do this, let's say, street performer in the street performance. So yeah, that's all I have to say regarding that. So having said all this, what are the positives and negatives to Symbol Pro? Let's start with the negatives. One of the negatives is, for some people, it's going to be that the variation in the ending isn't big enough for them to be comfortable going from table to table, doing the trick, and then people talking, having the same kind of outcomes. For some people, that may be an issue. For me, as I said, covered in the pattern, so it's not really a problem. But if you do this parlor stage, you just do it once, so it's not an issue. Another issue with this is, to me, I feel that even though I got it on sale, I feel that even as much as I like this, I feel that if I were to have paid 50 to 55 Canadian dollars for this, I feel it would have been a bit steep in terms of the price, just because like you're not getting any intricate gimmicks, you're not getting anything really, you're just getting a really simple method. And yes, the cards are well made, etc. But I feel that, especially looking at some of the recent ALAKAZAM tricks, which were really good, if you look at Ticket to Ride by Greg Petty, or you look at Imagine, or you look at all the great tricks they've released recently, all of them are more gimmick, they're more work, they're more intricate, they cost probably more during production, and they're all cheaper than this. So I think that the price is a bit of an issue, but if you want, just wait for a sale like I did, and you can probably snatch this for around 10 bucks Canadian, which is like around $8 US. So that's one of the things that I have to mention. Even though I think even if I would have paid it full price, I would have still used it a lot, because I do think it's really good. And if you just work it at every gig, it's going to pay for itself 20 times over. So yeah, having said all this, what are the positives? Positives: one, the instructional video is good. The props that you get are really good. The routine is easy to do. The routine is fun to perform as a performer. It's eye-catching. The spectators really enjoy this. I've performed this. Everyone has always enjoyed this. It was really fun. It's quick. It's a good opener. It's also a good segue. For example, if you start with this and then you move into a more interesting kind of ESP routine, or if you go into a tarot match or anything like that, you can say that, you know, just seeing the test with them meant a lot in knowing how they think. So you can kind of play this as a segue as well. So it plays really well. You can perform it stage, parlor, close up. It's great in all of those boxes. So having said everything, Would I recommend Symbol Pro, and what do I rate it out of 10? Would I recommend it? Yes. I think that if you like the effect, you like what you saw, you're not going to be disappointed with what you get, depending the price you pay for it. I do think that at full price, this may be a bit on the more expensive side when compared to other tricks, especially for the simplicity of it. But I think that even then, you're going to get mileage out of this, you're going to use it, and you're going to enjoy it. So yes, I do recommend Symbol Pro. However, I do recommend maybe waiting for the next Murphy's Magic sale like I did and getting it for a bit cheaper. But having said that, what do I rate it out of 10? I would rate it an 8.5 on 10. I think it is a very, very good effect. I think it's a fun effect. It's something that I do perform, something that I've already performed. As I mentioned, when I went out Saturday, I've been performing this to a few people. Everyone loved it. So I think that I will keep performing this, especially as someone that loves ESP tricks. I love ESP performances. So I think that I will be doing this for the near future as well. So 8.5 on 10. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. If you have any comments, as always, leave them down below. Happy to answer. And yeah, have a great one and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.